Imagine vanishing without a trace. No goodbye. No letter. No confirmed sighting. No body. For more than 40 years, one woman's disappearance remained an unsolved mystery, buried beneath rumors, suspicion, and silence. Her family spent decades wondering what happened to her. Police believed they knew who was responsible, but they could never prove it. Then, decades later, a horrifying discovery inside an abandoned mine revealed a secret someone had desperately tried to hide forever. This is the chilling story of Mamie Stuart and George Shotton, a tale of deception, violence, betrayal, and a murder mystery that remained hidden underground for more than 4 decades. And before we uncover this remarkable case, if you enjoy true crime stories and historical mysteries, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Your support helps us continue bringing carefully researched cases like this one to the channel. Mamie Stuart was born in Sunderland, England, during a time when opportunities for women were often limited. But Mamie dreamed of something bigger. She became a chorus girl and performer, working in theaters and entertainment venues across Britain. Friends and family described her as lively, attractive, and independent. She enjoyed socializing and had a personality that naturally drew people toward her. By the late 1910s, Europe was emerging from the devastation of the First World War. Millions were attempting to rebuild their lives and find stability after years of uncertainty. Like many young women of her generation, Mamie hoped to find happiness, security, and love. Unfortunately, the man she would eventually trust with her future would become the center of one of Britain's most disturbing mysteries. His name was George Shotton. George Shotton appeared respectable. He worked as a marine engineer and seemed capable of providing the stable life many women desired during that era. When Mamie met him, she likely saw a promising future. The relationship moved forward, and in 1918, the couple married. At least, Mamie believed they were legally married. What she did not know was that George Shotton was already married to another woman. His first marriage had never ended. In reality, Mamie's marriage was invalid from the very beginning. She had unknowingly become the victim of bigamy. Whether George deliberately concealed this fact or convinced himself he could keep the secret forever remains unknown. But one thing is certain. The deception formed the foundation of their entire relationship. And relationships built on lies rarely end well. As time passed, cracks began appearing in the marriage. The charming image George presented to the world allegedly differed greatly from the man Mamie encountered behind closed doors. Letters Mamie sent to her family painted a troubling picture. She complained about her husband's behavior. She expressed unhappiness. She hinted at fear. Family members would later recall concerns that George had a violent temper. Even more disturbing were reports suggesting that George's first wife had experienced similar issues. A pattern seemed to emerge. The image of a hard-working engineer was slowly being overshadowed by allegations of anger and abuse. Mamie increasingly appeared trapped. Far from home and dependent on her husband, her options were limited. Still, evidence suggests she was considering a way out. She reportedly wanted to leave George. And that decision may have placed her in terrible danger. As Christmas approached in 1919, tensions within the marriage seemed to be reaching a breaking point. Mamie was living with George in a cottage near Caswell Bay in Wales. The coastal area was beautiful. Rolling hills overlooked the sea. Visitors came to enjoy the scenery and peaceful surroundings. But beneath the beauty of the landscape lurked something darker. Nearby were abandoned mines left behind by earlier industrial activity. These forgotten tunnels would later play a critical role in the mystery. In the days leading up to Christmas, Mamie communicated with relatives. Nothing suggested she planned to disappear forever. She did not tell anyone she intended to start a new life. She did not arrange travel. She did not withdraw significant amounts of money. Then suddenly, she was gone. No one heard from her again. No letters. No visits. Nothing. For her family, the silence was alarming. For investigators, it would become one of the most suspicious disappearances they had ever encountered. When questions began to arise, George Shotton offered explanations. According to him, Mamie had left voluntarily. He suggested she simply walked away. At first glance, this might not have seemed impossible. Adults sometimes abandoned relationships and started over elsewhere. But almost immediately, problems appeared in George's story. If Mamie had chosen to leave, why had she taken none of her important belongings? Why would she disappear without contacting family members she loved? And why would she abandon everything she owned? The more investigators looked, the less sense George's explanation made. Then they found something that deepened their suspicions. A trunk belonging to Mamie was discovered at a hotel. Inside were her clothes and personal possessions. George admitted leaving it there. The discovery raised obvious questions. If Mamie had willingly started a new life elsewhere, why had she left behind so many important belongings? The mystery only grew stranger. Police continued searching for clues. Eventually, they uncovered more of Mamie's personal items. Her handbag was found. So was her money. Even her ration card remained behind. These were not the possessions of someone preparing for a fresh start. They were the possessions of someone who never had the chance to leave. Investigators increasingly believed Mamie had met with foul play. And their attention focused almost entirely on George Shotton. Yet there was one major obstacle. They had no body. Without physical evidence proving death, bringing a murder charge would be extremely difficult. This was an era long before modern forensic science. Investigators lacked many of the tools available today. Even though suspicion surrounded George, suspicion alone was not enough. Police needed proof. And proof remained frustratingly out of reach. While investigators struggled to prove murder, they did uncover another crime. George Shotton had illegally married Mamie while still legally married to his first wife. The evidence of bigamy was undeniable. Authorities prosecuted him for that offense. He was convicted and sentenced to prison. For many observers, the conviction felt unsatisfying. A woman had vanished. Most people suspected something terrible had happened. Yet the only punishment George received was for the fraudulent marriage itself. When he completed his sentence, he returned to ordinary life. Meanwhile, Mamie's family remained trapped in uncertainty. Years passed. Then decades. The mystery appeared destined to remain unsolved forever. The 1920s became the 1930s. The 1930s became the 1940s. Another world war came and went. Governments changed. Technology advanced. Entire generations grew up. Yet Mamie Stuart's disappearance remained unresolved. For her loved ones, the passage of time did not erase the pain. Every year brought unanswered questions. Every holiday served as a reminder of the family member who never returned home. Meanwhile, George Shotton grew older. He never faced a murder trial. He continued living with the shadow of suspicion hanging over him. But legally, he remained a free man. Then, in 1958, George Shotton died. As far as the justice system was concerned, the mystery appeared finished. Whatever secrets he carried went to the grave with him. Or so everyone thought. 3 years after George's death, an astonishing discovery changed everything. In 1961, explorers entered an abandoned lead mine near Caswell Bay. The mine had remained largely forgotten for decades. Deep within the darkness, they encountered something unexpected. Human remains. The discovery shocked authorities. Investigators rushed to the scene. As examinations continued, the situation became even more disturbing. The remains had been deliberately concealed. Someone had gone to significant effort to hide them. This was not an accidental death. It appeared to be evidence of murder. Suddenly, a mystery that had lain dormant for over 40 years was alive again. The question became obvious. Could these remains belong to Mamie Stuart? Forensic science had advanced considerably since 1919. Although identifying remains after so many years was challenging, investigators searched for clues. Among the remains and surrounding evidence were personal items and jewelry. These artifacts became crucial. Experts compared them with records and descriptions connected to Mamie Stuart. Gradually, a conclusion emerged. The remains were identified as hers. After more than 4 decades, Mamie had finally been found. The revelation was heartbreaking. Families often cling to hope. Even after many years, they imagine a missing loved one might still be alive somewhere. That possibility was now gone forever. The truth was far darker. Mamie had not started a new life. She had been murdered. An inquest was conducted to examine the circumstances surrounding Mamie's death. Investigators reviewed historical evidence. They examined witness statements. They revisited George Shotton's actions and explanations. The conclusions were striking. The coroner's jury determined that Mamie Stuart had been unlawfully killed. They also concluded that George Shotton was responsible. It was the closest thing to justice the case would ever receive. But there was a tragic complication. George was already dead. No arrest could be made. No trial could take place. No jury would hear the evidence in a courtroom. The man authorities believed had murdered Mamie would never answer for the crime. Even today, many questions remain unanswered. What exactly happened during Mamie's final hours? Did an argument escalate into violence? Did George plan the killing in advance? How did he transport the body? And perhaps most chillingly, how did he manage to keep such a terrible secret hidden for more than 40 years? Without a confession, those answers may never be known. The mine kept its secret for decades. And the only person who truly knew what happened died before the remains were discovered. What survives today is a puzzle with missing pieces. A story partially revealed, yet forever incomplete. The case of Mamie Stuart and George Shotton remains one of Britain's most haunting true crime mysteries. It is a story of trust betrayed. A story of a woman who disappeared at a time when investigators lacked the tools needed to uncover the truth. And it is a reminder that even the most carefully hidden secrets can eventually come to light. For more than 40 years, Mamie Stuart lay hidden beneath the Welsh landscape. The person responsible likely believed the truth would never be discovered. But time has a way of uncovering what people try hardest to bury. And although justice arrived too late to bring George Shotton to trial, the discovery of Mamie's remains ensured that her story would not be forgotten. After decades of silence, the mystery finally spoke. And the world listened. What do you think happened in Mamie Stuart's final days? Was George Shotton solely responsible, or could there be details that were never uncovered? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next true crime story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next case.